Okay, before I get into the details, the point of this video and the most important thing, if the memory that was shared in DissociaDID's most recent video upset you or triggered you, that's perfectly understandable and you are not overreacting. Expecting a trigger warning from a channel that claims to be a mental health education source is not, that should be expected. You're not wrong to expect that. Today, DissociaDID released a video titled 10 Years in Dormancy, DID in Dormancy or something. In this video, they suddenly go into a memory that shares dysregulating topics and details without any kind of warning. They state in the video that, instead of a trigger warning, they state that the video doesn't go into any graphic details or things like that, which I think is very misleading. Just for clarity, what I'm about to describe is upsetting, and it goes into trauma responses during bad moments, whether or not, no matter how the creator feels about it, it is going to remind people of bad moments. You know what I mean? Regardless of the creator's situation, what they describe sounds distressing, and I think it's understandable to put a trigger warning there, regardless of how they feel about that encounter. So they describe being on their knees and frozen to the point where they cannot move their eyes. They describe continuing because they had gotten praise for something and it made him happy. The only thing close to a warning is in their description, and it isn't even a trigger warning. It's a don't be concerned about this because this is fine. The behaviors in the video are very aligned with a freeze response and fawning response, which the alter's name is Fawn, so I don't think it's much of a leap. In a freeze response, whether or not the situation is okay or consented to, it is a trauma response, and they even say in their video that they probably should have been distressed. Being in a freeze trauma response can significantly impact a person's ability to give enthusiastic consent. Some Patreon members have reported raising this concern to them and were met with them saying that oh, it's fine, and then they didn't add anything in the video even though they were still editing. Presenting this type of experience as normal and healthy without any trigger warnings or safeguards for their audience is unacceptable, and it's dangerous. A reminder, this is a trauma education video. Framing these experiences as normal and healthy can really reinforce self-blame in survivors and distort a survivor's understanding of consent. The content warning itself minimizes the risk and feelings of survivors bringing it up to them by saying that their reaction does not match the situation. This is especially harmful on a channel that claims to be a safe space for survivors. This is not the first time that potentially triggering sexual material has been presented on their channel without any kind of warning. In their video titled "Are DID in School?" about them being in high school and symptoms they may have had, the video begins with the person they are speaking to just smacking their behind for no reason. It doesn't add anything to the video. It's an isolated clip. There is no reason it needs to be there. A Patreon member expressed that they were uncomfortable and concerned, and that the video probably needed a trigger warning. Other viewers on their YouTube channel also expressed concern and discomfort around the content, and their reaction was to post a TikTok mocking the people who were distressed. With permission, I'm sharing more context from the Patreon member who spoke up. I paraphrased their statement for clarity. Before the incident, they had been a paying member for several months. When they expressed concern, they got a response from DissociaDID that made them feel chastised, and then they were blocked. They were bringing up concerns as another survivor. They had been triggered by what they had seen in the video. DissociaDID also refused to refund the amount for the month that this Patreon member had paid for and would not receive until Patreon stepped in. The situation was incredibly distressing for the survivor. These actions seem to go against the Dissociated channel's stated purpose of mental health education and survivor advocacy. There seems to be continuous escalation and continuous lack of forethought around safety for both the audience and the creator. Simply adding trigger warnings can do a lot of good for both the creator and anyone watching. I just wanted to make this video because audience consent is really important, especially in trauma spaces, and there's just a blatant disregard for it that I just don't understand. It's not that hard to add a trigger warning, especially if you've if you haven't finished editing the video. Even if you have finished editing the video, unless it's clear that it's going to be about very distressing topics, a random memory that keeps reminding so many people of bad things, regardless of how you feel about that memory, just put a trigger warning. It's not that hard. It's presenting this kind of information without care for your audience is unacceptable to me, and at this point it's a pattern. Thank you for listening to what I have to say, and I hope this at least helps someone, because this is just, I didn't think it'd get this bad. I hope that they're able to learn from this and do better in the future. Yeah, thank you for listening. Bye.